Much for joining us for what is our final session in our volunteer festival this year. We're joined by Kennedy, who's a member of our lending team in East Africa, and Kennedy is here this afternoon to give us a virtual tour of East Africa. So thank you very much, Kennedy, and we'll pass over to you.
Thank you so much, Sally, and welcome. So my name, as Sally said, my name is Kennedy Mwasi, and I'm the lending officer at Shared Interest. I'm based in East Africa region, and I'm in Nairobi, Kenya. So during my my travels, I've managed to go to around at least 4 East African countries, and today I'll just give you a brief tour of how the country looks like and their cultures. So let's hop in. So East Africa is made up of around 11 countries, and right now for Shared Interest we are working with four countries. That is Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, and Rwanda. Now, as you can see, some facts about Kenya is that we have now the Nairobi Expressway, and before I forget, the capital city of Kenya is Nairobi. As you can see, the city. So the expressway came about because as a result of traffic. There used to be a lot of traffic in Nairobi, and so the government decided to come up with a way to ease up the traffic. Apart from that traffic from the residents, Nairobi is also a gateway to other East African countries. That is, all the cargo which comes from the port of Mombasa has to pass through Nairobi and go to their respective countries, such as Congo, Ethiopia, Sudan, Rwanda, and also Tanzania. So that's the reason as to why the expressway came about. So right now the expressway has really assisted because traffic has at least the traffic has now reduced, and at least there's movement of goods. There's movement of goods from point A to point B without delays. The next one is the standard gauge railway. This was a construction of the railway line from Nairobi to Mombasa. And the railway line is that has assisted in terms of transportation of cargo also from the port of Mombasa to Nairobi, and also lessen the cost of transport, the transporters who use trucks probably from maybe Uganda to the port of Mombasa. So right now they can just come to Nairobi and pick up their cargo, which makes it easier for them. In addition to that, the SGR also transports as a passenger side of it, where you can travel from Nairobi to Mombasa on a record time of 6 hours. Because initially, the initial train that was there used to take around 12 hours. And 12 hours is just too long for people. And using public means, it will take probably 9 hours. So having the SGR has really shortened the time from the 12 hours to the 9 hours. So another thing good about Kenya is that we have nice hotels and sandy beaches. So don't be worried when you get to Kenya. Be assured you have some accommodation for you. And we have also the sandy beaches, as I've said, and there's so many activities from camel riding to trekking and other sceneries. So going on to the sceneries section is that I wanted to inform you that Nairobi, being the capital city of Kenya, is the only city with a national park in the world. So as you can see the background of the city of Nairobi, and then you can see the animals there, the zebras, and also the giraffes. The next one is we have also several national parks within the country. We have the Masai Mara, we have the Tsavo National Park, and in these pictures you can see I've just picked up from the Tsavo National Park because it's one of the biggest national parks we have in the country. So it's divided into Tsavo East and Tsavo East and Tsavo West. So as you can see, there are so many things that can be done. There's you can view the animals. There's also other sceneries like the rivers, and also there are also hiking activities there with the help of the rangers, Kenya Wildlife Services rangers. So that's basically it about Nairobi. So we go to Rwanda, another one of my favorite countries that I've visited. So Rwanda capital city is Kigali, and Rwanda is usually known as the land of 1,000 hills, because wherever you are in Rwanda, you'll spot several hills in the as you travel into the country. And one of the things that makes Rwanda very unique is that they recently constructed the dome, as you can see, I'm pointing there. This is one of the, the dome is where most of the big conferences are held in that country. The other thing about Rwanda is that it's one of the safest country in the world. Recently, it was ranked 6th in the world. So don't be scared when you come to places like Rwanda. Be assured that the place is quite safe. In terms of road network, I can say major roads in Rwanda, the major roads in Rwanda have been tarmacked. I remember my initial time I went to Rwanda, it was around in 2017, where most of the roads were just maram roads. They were not tarmacked, they were just rough roads. And I remember some farmers were telling me that some of their goods would delay because of the road network. But now that the road has been tarmacked, it has made it easy for them. Their goods are arriving on time to their destination. As I said earlier, in terms of scenery, as I said earlier, it's the land of 1,000 hills, as you can see. And then we have Lake Kivu. And beside that, you can see there are beautiful hotels within the lakeside. In terms of wildlife, Rwanda, I would say it's home to gorillas and other primate animals such as the chimpanzees. So when you go to Rwanda, be assured when you visit the Volcanic National Park, you're able to see the gorillas where there is a high number there. And then there's also the Nyungwe forest down here, which has a high population of chimpanzees. So the next country that we'll be discussing is Uganda. Uganda, the capital city of Uganda is Kampala. And as you can see, the way Kampala is, there's a lot of traffic in Kampala. This is because of the tourists and then also the locals being there. And there's too much business, a lot of business going around there. So one magnificent thing about Uganda is that they also came up with an expressway. Now, the reason for having the expressway is that the distance between the capital city and the international airport, that is Entebbe International Airport, is 42 kilometers. And getting to from the airport to Kampala, it would take 2 hours. And this was because of traffic. There's a lot of traffic between Entebbe and Kampala. So because of the government constructing the expressway, it has made it easy for them. Now, right now, it's a record time from getting from Entebbe to Kampala is just 30 minutes. So it has really eased the transport sector from those two points. The next one I wanted to explain about the staple food in Uganda. Uganda, their staple food is banana, and this is very important. When you go to Uganda, you'll find that most of the food will not miss the bananas or the plantain. So as you go into the interior, or even as you come to Kampala, you'll notice there's a lot of banana sellers alongside the roads. And as you go into the interior and meet the farmers, you'll realize that every homestead does not miss a banana plant. So that's very interesting in that country. And the country, just know that the country is very green in nature. In terms of scenery, Uganda is home to so many some few falls. So we have the Mackinson Falls and the Owen Falls. The Mackinson Falls, put it here because it's usually loved by people because of its rambling nature. So the water coming from the top into the to the bottom usually creates a rumbling sound, which I think people really love that. And then we have the Owen Falls. The Owen Falls, I think, as you can see from the diagram, it doesn't look much of a fall, but what the government of Uganda did is that they constructed a dam. So in order to create hydroelectricity power. So right now it's fully functioning, and part of that, and Uganda usually export part of the electricity to countries such as Kenya. In terms of wildlife, Uganda has, as you can see in the picture, it has the highest number of birds in East Africa. And one of the birds is the crane, which is the Uganda national bird. As you can see, the way it's so majestic. This is one of the, it's one of the rarest birds which you just find in Uganda. Not, I haven't seen one in Kenya yet, though. And then they have also another bird called the shoebill stork, one of the rarest birds in East Africa. From stories that I've heard is that it's only one in Uganda, and it had flown from Kenya going into Uganda, and it has never come back. But we are praying that one day it does come back to Kenya. In addition, also Uganda is also home to has the highest population of gorillas compared to Rwanda. So the next country I'm talking about will be Tanzania. So Tanzania happens to be one of the best. I would say, for me, I would say it's one of the best countries that we have in East Africa because of its climatic region, climate. So the capital city right now, it's Dodoma. This was initiated in 2019 by the late former president John Pombe Magufuli, whom he saw that there was need to make other towns to become capital cities so that they become more developed. So right now, Dodoma is not that people say that's kind of slow, but it's because it's just I would say it's just like a baby who is just growing up. So in Dodoma, what you find is that this magnificent the roundabout, and then the statue of the founding father, Mwalimu Julius Nyerere. So the next one is Dar es Salaam. This used to be, before 2019, it used to be the capital city of Tanzania. And as you can see, it looks more developed compared to Dodoma. One unique thing about Dar es Salaam is that they also have a port. And recently, the port has been undergoing an expansion. The reason is that the port it can only hold only small vessels, not big vessels. So the reason for expanding it is for the port to be able to dock larger ships. So by having larger ships, which means that more goods will be able to be transported out and into the country. So also Tanzania is also made up of Zanzibar, which is one of the another tourist destination for tourist destination. People love coming to Zanzibar because of its white sandy beaches, and then the culture there, and the people are so welcoming. And also there's also one thing, they also produce spices. So that's why you'll see so many guests coming over to Zanzibar. In terms of scenery, Tanzania has Mount Kilimanjaro, which is the tallest mountain in Africa. I don't know how the number it is in the world, but I should guess from my geography, I remember it used to be number 2, but I think maybe over the years, maybe it has become number 4 or something of the sort. So Mount Kilimanjaro is very interesting with the snow caps there, the animals, and also there are so many activities that can be done in Mount Kilimanjaro. There's the hiking part of it. There's the viewing of the animals, because they have also the national park within the mountain. We also have Ngorongoro and Serengeti national parks. So these are also parks which are found in Tanzania. As you can see, the first 2 pictures, these are Ngorongoro National Park. The second picture where they have the flamingos. The flamingos usually migratory birds from Kenya to Tanzania and then back to Kenya again. So that's how it is. The pictures below are on Serengeti, where you can see the wildebeests and also the giraffes. And also there are several activities which can be done at the parks. There is camping, and also there is flying with the balloons. So some facts about East African countries is that we have Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania, which share Lake Victoria, as you can see in the picture below. And then the 8th wonder of the world happens in East Africa. This is where the wildebeests usually cross from Serengeti into Masai Mara through the Mara River. So that's where the magic usually happens. So from there, so thank you for listening, and I welcome you to East Africa.
Thank you very much, Kennedy. That was fantastic. A whistle-stop tour through the countries of East Africa. Thank you. So Kennedy is happy, as he said, to take some questions. So if anybody does have any questions, please feel free to ask those. You will just need to remember to unmute yourself if you do have a question, so that we can hear you. I'll try and keep an eye on all the videos to see who's making a point that they'd like to ask a question. But feel free just to unmute yourself if you have a question and ask away.
I was interested in your high up motorway through Nairobi. Was that built by Chinese?
Yes, the expressway was built by the Chinese, and it was recently launched by the president. It was in May this year. That's when it was.
Right. Yeah. It's quite a number of years since I was in Nairobi, and it was being built at that time. And it was a very busy city with traffic.
Yeah, I'm so sure that when you come next time, you'll see a bigger change.
Yes.
Thank you, Eleanor. While others are perhaps thinking of questions, Kennedy, when you showed the picture of Lake Kivu,
yes.
There was quite a lot of what looked like step activity, almost that it had been farmed in that way. What was that? Can you explain to us what was on the mountains there?
Oh, those steps those are coffee farmers, and the steps are the coffee drying beds. So as you can see, they are a little bit white. So that's the time that they are drying their coffee, processing, making it ready to be dry, and then pack it into the sacks to ready to be sent to their buyers.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. I did assume it was something, some sort of agricultural practice, but that's great. Thank you. Yeah. Ian and Sheila, you've got a question.
Yeah, I was wondering how much trade happens between the countries of East Africa, and how much of that is fair trade that shared interest can get involved with. So
in terms of, there's a lot of trade, but that is the regional trade, which is happening within the East African countries. In terms of being fair trade, I think the best, I would say that most of the exports are the ones which are usually done fair, fair trade.
Okay, so there's no sort of internal fair trade mark.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'm just having a quick scroll through here. Yes, Vivian, do you want to just unmute yourself, Vivian? Vivian, we just need you to unmute, please. We can't hear you at the moment.
Here we are. Can you hear me now?
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah, I've been to Kenya, not the other countries you mentioned. Is there any kind of conflict between setting aside land for national parks and farmers who obviously want to have more land if they can? Is there a is there any kind of an issue there?
No, right now there are no issues. The thing is that the government has already gazetted the land that is supposed to be for wildlife.
Mm.
So no one is supposed to move into the land that is designated for wildlife.
Mm. Oh, thank you, because I know obviously the wildlife parks are good for the economy in a different way to agriculture because they bring tourists and visitors. I just wondered if there was ever a conflict. Thank you.
No, there's no conflict, and they usually work together most of the time.
Mm.
Thank you, Vivian. Thank you, Kennedy. Kennedy, I'm just going to ask one more question because I'm going to take my privileges as sort of the fielder of questions to ask another one. You mentioned that bananas were something that we would certainly be offered in Uganda. What about the other countries that you mentioned? Are there particular foods that would be very popular in those countries?
So so for example, in Kenya is usually we call it ugali. That's it's made of white flour and nyama choma, that is. And then Rwanda, I will also put it. They also have the same like Kenya ugali plus. I think there's also bananas also. Those two. And then for Tanzania, it's strictly ugali and nyama choma.
Excellent, thank you.
Nyama choma is roasted meat, yeah?
Yes.
Is the ugali, is that like a porridge?
Yes, it's more like a porridge, but a hard one. Yeah, a hard one. Yes.
When I was out, it's many years ago, it was irio they spoke about, and they said that was with Kikuyus. They said it was a word for food, and it's just a basic mixture.
Yes, irio is for the Kikuyu tribe, but in Kenya generally, it's usually the ugali. Yes, yeah. Yeah, that's nice. You've also eaten ugali.
Yes, I was very fortunate. I had home hospitality, which was lovely.
Yeah.
Northern Uganda, it's called posho.
Yes, for sure.
Excellent. I was just saying earlier today, we did another session with some baking, and I was saying the one challenge of Zoom is we can see each other, we can hear each other, but we can't smell or taste things yet. So it's unfortunate. It sounds like there's a lot of experiences that people have had of eating some of these foods. So it would be lovely if there was an opportunity, perhaps in the future, there'll be an opportunity for us to share them together, perhaps. Well, thank you all very much for joining. I'm just doing a quick scan through to make sure I'm not missing any further questions from people. But thank you, Kennedy, so much. That was fantastic. And I think you've certainly done an excellent job for the East African Tourist Board. And I'm sure that people will be exploring options as to how to make trips over to visit soon.